Very happy to be with you and with Philippe Generali, who is the CEO of RCS Worldwide. Hello, Philippe. How are you?
Hello, Philippe. How are you? It's good to be here.
You're in Orléans, where all started in France with RCS, which is now a worldwide company. We're going to talk about what's happening in the radio and podcast environment. First of all, RCS has a presence everywhere in the world, offering software, services, and cloud solutions. What are the trends and what can you predict in this evolving digital audio industry for radio and maybe also for podcasting?
There's a branch of IPG brand, advertising agency, actually the largest advertising agency, arguably in the world, and they just published studies through their Magna arm, and the advertising sales in the US are forecast for radio are forecast to grow 19% in 2021. So 19%, that means going to bring them to $11 billion. And another 3% to 11.4 billion in 2022. So that's very, very good news, and that's driven by an 80% increase in the second quarter of 2021. All the big brands in the US, Odyssey, iHeartMedia, Cumulus, are growing almost 100%. It's really, really encouraging to see that basically the industry is going back to terrific level. There's a lot of dollars that are going digital, of course, but radio is coming back strong, very strong. People are starting to commute to work. They drive their car. They listen to radio in the car. They get vaccinated so they can go to work. They can go out and spend and go to restaurants, and advertisers know that. There's some sectors that are still a bit tricky, like the automobile. There's a worldwide shortage of chips. So you can't really get the car you want in the delay that you want. So advertising is not super hot now, but it's going to come back also. So the radio is a great place to advertise, and audio is going to grow 25% in 2021, even bigger than just radio, of course. The podcast is doing very well. It's going to go to $1 billion in the US. $1 billion. This is bigger than the movie theater industry for advertising, and that $1 billion is driven by the fact that podcast is becoming a mainstream media. There's a study from Nielsen that has been published. Podcasting reach grew 21% between 2020 and 2021, according to Nielsen. So it's about almost a quarter of U.S. adults that are 18 and older that can be reached via podcasting in 2021. It's not anymore a niche product where you only reach a fringe of people, but you can reach a quarter of the adult 18 and over. And of course, 20, 25, 54 are one of the most coveted demo. In the US, they call it the money demo. So, so Nielsen can reach those 25, 54 via podcast, and they love that. So audio is really hot now, and that's interesting because the listeners know it, and if the listeners know it, they like audio, and if there are people listening to audio, advertising agencies and advertisers know it. So the money will follow the listeners. So that's good.
Yeah. So radio is really embracing podcasting, and audio is just developing with the smart speakers as well. So it's vital for radio broadcaster to pivot in hybrid work. And how are you helping them to do this, to do this pivot and hybrid work?
Well, it's super important to have the digital in mind when you do radio. I mean, it's not new that you have to think beyond your FM transmitter, and you have to think about your audience at large. You have to think about your audience on streaming. You have to think about your audience on smart speaker. When people play a radio station on a smart speaker, they want to make sure that they're understood right away. They don't have to repeat what station they want, and they end up having the right station. And of course, there's the monetization. We work in tandem with our sister company, Triton Digital, who offers a way to monetize the stream on top of your regular terrestrial audience. So sometimes if it's under monetized, you can make extra bucks, extra dollar, extra pound, extra euros with your streams, and that's a great opportunity to be everywhere where your listeners are. The philosophy is very simple. If you're in the audio entertainment business, you have to be where your listeners are. In the 80s, the listeners of audio entertainment, they were listening to FM. Today, you can't stop naming new devices and new way of listening to audio entertainment. If that's your business, if your business is not being an FM transmitter that has content that you feed it to, if your business is the audio entertainment, be it music or sports or news or whatever you do in audio, you have to be where your listeners are. Otherwise, you're going to lose them.
So you have a lot of tools that you're using for that, and some radio broadcasters tend to be conservative, technically speaking. Are stations easily adopting virtualization and the cloud, which is basically a computer somewhere else?
Yes, look, RCS was the first company to offer a real professional grade automation system that was totally cloud-based, called Zeta Cloud. So Zeta is already the automation system which is the most sold in the US. Today with Zeta, we're in about 86 countries, I believe, and counting. We light up one station per day with Zeta in the world. Even during COVID, we switched to a completely virtual installation remotely, and we were able to install those stations. So when you talk about going cloud instead of having computer in the studio, the broadcasters are really, really interested by the concept and saying, really, that sounds good. So I won't have to have a machine in the studio or in a rack room. No, you won't. I won't have to have all the maintenance that is crucial for those machines. No, you won't. And you won't have to have the real estate for your studio either. You can have a smaller footprint. So there's a lot of money to save. However, it's a little bit, if you want, Philippe, like the electric car. I think that's a good parallel. Electric car, when you think about the electric car, wow, you never have to fill up with gas. You charge it at night. You go to work in the morning. It's fantastic. It's silent. It does not pollute. Most of them look terrific. Not all, but most look terrific. But, it's going to take a little bit before everybody drives an electric car. Where you and I will be probably granddaddy when you will be able to speak to our grandkids. There was a time you had to put gas in the car.
Yeah. Well, I feel that it can happen, maybe faster than we think.
Yes, and it's the same thing with virtualization. You're gonna have virtualization is going to catch on very quickly. You have already countries that have adopted virtualization, like in the UK, the BBC has been virtualizing all their local BBC station for several years now. In the US, we have a lot of adoption of virtualization because of the advantage of that. I think you're gonna have almost a quarter of the commercial radio station, the big ones in the US, in the top 100 markets, that are going to be virtualized one way or another by the end of next year.
So do you see that certain regions are picking up faster now? Do you see that in the whole world, because you're really covering the whole world? So is there some countries that really are getting in now more and more and go to that virtualization? You talked about some countries, but what about the others? Do you feel that there's a trend coming and wishing to go to that virtualization and cloud?
Yes. So there's several ways to get into the cloud, and we have chosen at RCS to offer baby steps to get you there. So we have a service that we call RCS Disaster Recovery, which allows you to have a copy of your radio station running with an automation system, completely cloud-based. And if you have anything that happens in your studio, you can open up a browser and start that radio station, which sounds exactly like your station. It's being kept up to date to the minute with the latest jingle, the latest commercial, the latest voice track, the latest music, of course. And it plays using your segues, your fade, and everything that you have. And that is a way to not have to do anything in the studio or with your local machine. Yeah. So the most common thing is ransomware. Ransomware is that terrible thing that in the US there's been a lot, and I think in Europe and in the world it's unfortunately starting to get more and more common. The scenario is classic. You have a hacker that gets into your computer system and he puts a wrapper around your audio files, and all of a sudden your automation system file not found in front of you. It displays there is no more audio file in your system, and you have a nice message that pops up on the screen that say, "Give us $100,000 in Bitcoin, and we'll restore your audio files." So when you have a system that's your lifeblood, it's very difficult to escape that. So the advantage of the cloud-based system is that when you use Zeta as a disaster recovery system, we will have copied all your audio, all your assets in the cloud, and we'll run a system in the cloud, which is cloud-based. Guess what, Philippe? In the cloud, it's all Linux. It's all container. It's not sensitive to ransomware. There is no ransomware. Ransomware attacks are typically on Microsoft systems. So when you transfer your system in the cloud using RCS and you run it in the cloud, your system is not infected in the cloud. So you can start the system in the cloud. On the air, you direct that stream to your transmitter. On the air, you sound perfectly fine. And meanwhile, you can turn off all your machine, clean them, restore your backups and all this, and take all the time you want. And guess what? When people are using a disaster recovery, they're playing from the cloud. And our hope is that they're going to say, you know what? That cloud thing is not so bad after all. Yeah. It sounds pretty damn good.
So let's not hope that it's a disaster for every station, but there's a solution for it.
Yes.
So with pandemic, the streaming is booming. Tell us about what Revma is doing and how is it evolving, Revma? Because it's a new new service that you offer now for some years. How is it evolving? Did you feel that it was really booming?
Yes, when we acquired that company, Radio Jar in Greece, I love the fact that those guys were already working in the cloud, completely cloud-based. So I wanted to make sure that we could use that as a base for our cloud services, and we had the streaming service Revma, which was really a smart way of approaching the streaming. At least we thought it was, and we said, why don't we put together our combined forces? We know what audio professional like, and we know them. We have over 15,000 professional audio around the world in 115 countries that are really eager to stream properly. So we work with them, and we made Revma a phenomenal system. We've tripled the sales of Revma since we acquired the company. In fact, we folded it in iHeart Media, our parent company, and they love working with those guys over there. And we also worked on the technology in order to do break away from the FM, from the terrestrial, if you want to go into a split with different commercial on the internet in order to make more money, right? And Philippe, we've come up with stuff that's really exciting. For example, we're able to offer a longer commercial break on the internet than there is on FM. Yet, it will be completely transparent for the user. We'll pick up the song that was at the end of the commercial break on FM, and we'll put that one, we'll stitch it back at the end of the commercial break on the internet, and we'll continue like that. It will be completely transparent. So you can have more commercial on the internet than you have on terrestrial, and it sounds good. That was what we liked.
It sounds very good. So going from streaming to cars, screens in the cars is going to change the evolution and how you listen to radio. It's a real challenge for radio stations. How RCS can help that? Is it something you pay attention to?
Yes, of course. We work with Xperi, which is a big provider of associated data set. So you're able to offer what everybody takes for granted, the picture of the album art and the cover of the picture of the artist, and anything that you might want to have in the car, so you can have the full entertainment. As far as the quantity is concerned, yes, the Spotify and Deezers and the audio entertainment company, other audio entertainment company, are now in the car too. And that's why radio has to be there and offer more than that. But, radio is a companionship, and that's a very fundamental difference. It's not a record collection. It's more than that. And that's why we have to, the radio, our customers, and I say we because, I started in radio, we have to be the companion. And that's a huge difference compared to a record collection.
Yeah, someone told me in a clubhouse room one day, and I thought that was kind of fun, that radio is not supposed to be recorded. Podcast is.
yes.
And that was right. And it was so true, because if you really think about it, radio does not mean to be recorded. It means to be entertaining while you're listening to it.
Exactly.
And you're not supposed to come back to it, even if some shows are really interesting to listen to.
Yeah, it's entertainment. It's entertainment. So, you can't really call playing one song after another entertainment, but radio has to remain entertainment, and that's what radio does.
So there's an event coming up, one of the first event that is going to be attended physically. We don't really know how it's going to happen, but the Paris radio show that we organized has been postponed. But now the Radio Days Europe are coming up very very soon in Europe, in Portugal. When was the last time you were in Europe to attend an industry event, and how important is Radio Days for you?
I can't remember. Last time I was. So, this is scary, but I can't remember the last time I was at an event in Europe. It might have been Radio Days, as a matter of fact. But Radio Days is a great show. The people who put together that show are extremely professional. We love working with them. They are attentive to the needs of the participant. And when I say participant, they're attentive to the needs of the public. And they are attentive to the need of the exhibitors, which we are. We want to meet people from radio. Radio people want to hear things that talk about radio. But Radio Days has been one of the first convention in Europe to invite people that were big personalities from media in the US and bring them over in Europe. We've seen people from Z100, from iHeartMedia, that have come to those shows in Europe, and it's been great to hear from them, and that makes a big difference because they have a point of view, and you can embrace it or you can not like it, but at least it's good to know what's being done around the world. So definitely a great show for that.
And to meet and to exchange and to hear the voices and the vibration of the voice, not just through those kind of softwares that are good, but not perfect in terms of quality. And it's much better to be in front of each other. And so let's hope we meet very soon, Philippe. Thank you very much for being with this RedTech briefing. We have a new issue that is coming out just for the Radio Days Europe that will be in the digital bag, because that's the new original thing. It's not real bags that we give to events. It's digital bag, virtual bags. So we hope you will enjoy this issue, and that we'll talk some more later on in the future, because you're here for a long time, I'm sure, and RCS is answering the whole need in the whole ecosystem of radio and podcasting. Thank you very much, Philippe, and see you soon.
Thank you, Philippe. Thanks for having me.